sticky circular thing right here with the tab facing upwards, making sure that the chip is in the center of the circle, rubbing it down, ensuring a good bond to the windscreen. Remove the layer of the adhesive film, attach this pedestal and line it up properly. Once again, pushing down hard. To ensure you have a good fixing, you can always come to the inside of the car and look at the sticky tape to ensure there are no air bubbles. Now we are going to inject the resin itself, so literally take off the cap and snip off the tip. We are going to be applying about 5 to 6 drops inside the hole itself. I've placed this microfiber cloth on top of the windshield so that you guys can see this, but about 5 to 6 drops, as I said. You can just see the resin going in now. Once that is done, remove the bottle itself and keep this because we will be using this later for step 11 according to the instructions. Now we will be using the injector or syringe looking type of thing, and if you look closely there is a lower notch and a higher notch. We'll be applying this syringe to the pedestal and then sucking out the air, causing a vacuum until we get to the lower notch. Already you guys can see that the vacuum is sucking up the resin itself, and we have locked it to the lower notch up here. So we'll let this sit for about 10 minutes and we'll have a look inside to see what effect this has done. As you guys can see there are loads of air bubbles. These are being sucked out by the vacuum caused by the injector, and it also shows that we have a good seal. This has been less than 1 minute so far. Simply just unlock it from its notch, remove the injector, pull it all the way up past the lower notch, place it back in nice and tight, and then we push the air out until we reach the upper notch, and this time we leave it for 20 minutes. With this step, the plunger is literally forcing air onto the resin itself into the crack, so slowly we should be able to see the line on the crack disappear. Roughly 20 minutes has now passed and it seems like the crack is still there. It is quite hard to show you guys, but you can most definitely still see it there. I'm going to remove this adhesive tape now and then we'll see what's behind it. It's just a simple case of removing this injector. Setting that aside, we won't be needing this anymore, and then after we'll be using this razor blade to get rid of the edges of this adhesive tape. So just slowly work your way around the edges, and once you've loosened it, I think the best way is to just twist it off rather than actually yanking it out, because you might take off some of the resin as well. Twisted the pedestal off. Now for the adhesive itself. Clean off any remaining of this adhesive stuff just by scraping away lightly. So the result so far, it isn't the best. It has taken away quite a lot of the marks from the outside, and it has somewhat repaired it. So from the inside you can still see there is a clear chip mark there, but hopefully the curing process would sort this out. And for the final part, remember we still have a bit of the resin inside here. Well, we are going to apply a couple of drops onto the chip itself. Not too much that it drips all over the place. Just fill up the area. And then we'll be using that film that they provided and literally just sticking it on top, making sure there's no air bubbles around the chip itself. We will now be leaving this for about an hour or so. If it was sunny and you had some decent heat going onto the windscreen, then it should take about 15 to 20 minutes, but because today's really cloudy, then we will be waiting for about an hour. But you can just about see that chip mark there. It looks better than before, but it isn't perfect. And so with 1 hour past, we can remove this film. Just scrape it off rather than pulling it straight off, just in case the resin comes off with it as well. And you are left with a bit of the resin marks around here. So we're going to use the razor blade and just scrape that resin off as well. After using the windshield repair kit, we can still see a line there, but if I run my fingers along it, you can't feel a thing at all.